This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Two pedestrians mowed down in separate incidents on the north coast. Two pedestrians died after they were mowed down by motorists in separate incidents in St. Anne and Trelawney on Wednesday. The deceased are 74-year-old Siebert Ward, a chef of Windsor in St. Anne, and a woman identified only as Miss Evans. Police reported that Ward was allegedly crossing the A.G. Byfield Main Road in St. Anne's Bay about 7:30 p.m. when he was hit by a Mazda motor car. He was assisted to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The driver of the motor car was interviewed by the police at the scene and warned for prosecution. In the second incident on Wednesday night, Evans was reportedly crossing the Salter Marsh Main Road in Trelawney when she was hit by a Toyota Corolla Axio motor car. She reportedly died at the scene. The driver of the vehicle was interviewed at the scene by the police and was subsequently warned for prosecution. Meanwhile, the police are appealing to anyone with information in locating the family members of Evans to contact them at 876-954-3271. Security forces crush a plan to parade a dog paw's body. Police and soldiers yesterday crushed a plan to parade the body of slain gangster Christopher Dogpaw Linton through Tavern and the neighboring communities in St. Andrew ahead of his interment at the Dovecot Memorial Park in St. Catherine. The heavy presence of law enforcers began Thursday night when a wake being held for Linton was shut down and many of those in attendance, including members of his family, were taken away by the police for processing. Thursday night's action created tension that carried over into yesterday morning as the livid residents and members of Linton's family expressed disgust at the treatment they received. They claimed that lit candles at the wake were kicked over by the police, and the people in attendance, including senior citizens, were roughed up and shouted at by cops who they said used the obscene language. One woman told the news that not even music was being played Thursday night when the security forces arrived. Yesterday morning, one man said them come and kick over the candles and say if we put up any more, them all kick out with it. Even when I call their superior is the same result. I think the funeral will have to be postponed because of the operation Thursday night. The community can't feel good about that, you know. I need to find out if there is a law that says we cannot light candles. They need to cut out the foolishness. I think it is something personal against him. Despite some delay and uncertainty, the funeral got underway inside the chapel at Dovecot in the afternoon with more than 50 relatives and close friends in attendance. Leah Tavares Finson, the mother of one of Linton's children and the daughter of Senate President Tom Tavares Finson, walked into the chapel with a bottle of Heineken beer. She was teary-eyed throughout a majority of her tribute to Linton, whom she described as very loving and caring. There is no amount of Heineken I can drink to prepare for this. I have known Christopher since I was 17 years old. We have a son together and we have had relations in various capacities over the years. One of his favorite things to say was, "Oh my days." I never stopped hearing that for 18 years, she said. When the phone rings and I answer it, all you hear is a baby mother, and you would know it is some request. He was such a loving, caring, and a giving protector. He was my protector till death and a protector of the children. Even my youngest child, Tavares Vincent, said, in reference to a baby she shares with dancehall artist Javelani. We are going to miss him. This is a great loss to Tavern. No matter what anybody says, he was an amazing guy. He loved his community with all his heart. He loved the Tavern. He lived and died for Tavern. People always want to understand how I ended up with Chris, but sometimes I think to myself, how did he end up with me? For 18 years he was my best friend. I told him everything. Anytime I had to tell him anything that I know he wouldn't approve of, I just swallowed the cussing and then take maybe a 2-week probation of him not talking to me, she said. Linton's girlfriend Crystal, who delivered the eulogy, said, "Though times and seasons change, your memory will remain forever in our hearts." She said that Linton, who was born on September 30, 1986, at Victoria Jubilee Hospital, was raised in a humble Christian home along with his brothers. He enjoyed playing football, attending Sunday school, and watching cartoons. She said the cartoon he loved the most was Papa Bears, and his friends would often tell him that he resembled Dark Paw, one of the cartoon characters. That led to him being given the nickname Dog Paw. He was known to his peers to be loving, kind-hearted, friendly, and a jovial individual, which undoubtedly made him a lot of friends. He had a passion for nature, which inspired him to become a proud member of his school's environmental club. Christopher was very much involved with his Christian beliefs and decided to get baptized at the age of 10, she said. Linton, who police say was involved in several serious crimes before he was sent to prison and continued on that path after his release in April this year, was shot dead by cops on John Golding Road in Elletson Flats on October 11, 2021, in what was reported as a firefight with police. The police had reported that a team of lawmen was searching for a gray vehicle with armed men. In the process, they intercepted a vehicle which had a female driver and a male passenger. Cops said they instructed the occupants to exit the car when 35-year-old Linton reportedly exited the vehicle, pointing a firearm at the cops. The police stated that they opened a fire at Linton. He was pronounced dead at University Hospital of the West Indies. A Colt .45 pistol was reportedly recovered from the scene. The female driver, who news sources have confirmed is an insurance agent, was not injured or hospitalized as a result of the incident. Border protection enhanced with the commissioning of 3 Coast Guard vessels, said Chang. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has said that the commissioning into service of 3 Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard vessels will further strengthen the country's maritime border and protect its interests through enhanced maritime domain awareness and response capabilities. Chang, the Deputy Prime Minister, made the comment on Thursday at the commissioning ceremony of Her Majesty's Jamaican ship Alexander Bustamante and the naming of Samuel Sharp and George William Gordon. The addition of Her Majesty's Jamaican ship Alexander Bustamante will greatly assist the JDF Coast Guard in delivering its mandate to monitor and maintain law and order in Jamaica's maritime domain and provide a safe environment for establishing Jamaica's blue economy, Chang stated. He said that protecting Jamaica's maritime space is imperative for national security and sustainable development, adding that this is crucial to the emergence and the viability of Jamaica's blue economy, which has the potential to be a significant contributor to our long-term economic growth prospects. The Security Minister highlighted that the occasion symbolizes, in a tangible way, the necessary investment in the expansion of the JDF's fleet of offshore patrol vessels. He said our maritime security environment continues to be characterized by traditional, non-traditional, and emerging threats. With this in mind, the government remains committed to the acquisition of new vessels and has made significant investment to that end over the last 4 years. Chang also pointed to the growing influence of transitional threats network, particularly illicit drugs and armed traffickers, the emergence of new trafficking routes by traffickers engaged in contraband and human trafficking, illicit migration, and illegal unreported and unregulated fishing. To this end, he said, we must strengthen the JDF's capability to monitor and safeguard our maritime areas of responsibility, which includes the maritime borders of the country. OPVs provide the capability of maintaining a 24-hour presence within the maritime space, where regular patrols on the Pedro banks have increased the fight against poaching and illegal fishing in that area of Jamaica's maritime domain. The minister said the acquisition of new offshore patrol vessels has enabled the JDF Coast Guard to know more and do more. Jamaica's national interest and international obligations within the maritime space covers over 500,000 square kilometers through which the cocaine and marijuana are trafficked. Discrimination based on COVID-19 vaccination status being considered, said Tufton. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has declared that discrimination based on vaccination status is among some of the bolder decisions which will be needed as Jamaica heads into a fourth wave of COVID-19 infections. The minister, who was speaking in Western Jamaica on Thursday, expressed a concern about the continued low rate of vaccination. He said the country was now at a point where it has come to terms with the need to ensure those who take the time to get vaccinated are not placed at a disadvantage by the unvaccinated. Dr. Tufton said the government cannot keep shutting down and reopening the country based on the number of COVID-19 cases.
I certainly am at the point, and I speak just as the Minister of Health, not as the Cabinet, which makes critical policy decisions or policy decisions sign off, that we're going to have to make some decisions. And even as individuals, whether inviting persons into our homes, into our workspace or otherwise, where persons will have to comply, I think, with stricter requirements or should be required to comply with stricter requirements as we seek to confront this management or response to this public health threat. After 2 years, with the number of solutions that are available, whether it's vaccination or testing or just information, knowledge, it justifies a level of continuity within our society, but also where we begin, and this may not be a good word to use, to discriminate in favor of persons who have been vaccinated. And I think those are some of the bold decisions that are going to be necessary in moving forward.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.